Power fans, get ready. The streets are buzzing louder than ever. And whispers are spreading about what's coming next in Force Season 3. Spoilers are circling fast. And the biggest talk is about who might be making a shocking comeback. These aren't just background players, we're talking about characters whose names still shake the whole Power universe. If these returns happen, they could flip Tommy's world upside down and change everything we think we know about his rise in Chicago. Season 2 ended with chaos, betrayal, and war on every corner, leaving the city of Chicago ready to explode. Tommy Egan stood right in the center, building his empire but also watching enemies multiply at every turn. On one side, Claudia Flynn's betrayal left deep wounds and new threats. She went from being a partner to becoming a snake in the grass, someone who could not be trusted, and her actions set a new chain of violence in motion. On the other side, Diamond and Jennard, once brothers with a shared vision, are now broken apart by pride, greed, and mistrust. Their fight didn't just split their crew, it split the streets and opened the door for blood to spill in ways that no one could fully control. But what makes things even more dangerous is not just the enemies Tommy can see, it's the ghosts of the past that fans believe may come back to haunt him. The Power universe has always thrived on shocking returns, surprise cameos, and faces we thought were gone forever suddenly walking back into the story. That's why Season 3 spoilers are hitting so hard. People are whispering about characters from the original Power series, people who once stood shoulder to shoulder with Ghost, Tasha, and Tommy himself, now being hinted at for a shocking return. And if that happens, the battlefield in Chicago won't just be about drugs, money, and power, it'll be about loyalty, revenge, and unfinished business, stretching all the way back to New York. The cliffhangers left fans desperate for answers. Would Claudia survive her betrayals? Or would Tommy finally take her out? Would Diamond's leadership stand? Or would Jennard drag him into another bloody war that no one could control? And most of all, who from Tommy's past might step back into the light, forcing him to face not just his present enemies, but the choices he made years ago? These are the questions that are fueling every fan theory, every leaked rumor, and every spoiler that's setting the internet on fire right now. When fans started picking apart the whispers about Force Season 3, one thing stood out. The Power universe has never truly let go of its biggest characters. Ghost may be gone, but his shadow is still everywhere. Every move Tommy makes, every alliance he breaks, feels like an echo of those years in New York. That's why rumors of familiar faces returning have hit the fandom like a storm. The streets don't forget, and neither does Power. It's not just about who's alive or dead on paper, it's about who has unfinished business. The loudest spoiler buzzing through the community is the possibility of Tasha St. Patrick making an appearance. Think about it. Tasha has always been tied to Tommy in ways deeper than people admit. She lost Ghost, she lost almost everything, but her ties to the game are never fully cut. If she shows up in Chicago, it wouldn't just be a cameo, it would be a storm of drama. Tommy and Tasha together again would bring up painful memories, old arguments, and the kind of raw energy that only Power can deliver. Fans are already wondering if her role would be to warn Tommy, challenge him, or maybe even set up a business move of her own. Nothing in this universe is ever simple, and a Tasha return would be explosive. Then there's chatter about Tariq St. Patrick. His spin-off has shown us a smarter, more calculated side of Ghost's son, but Tariq still carries the weight of his father's choices and his own mistakes. Imagine Tariq stepping into Tommy's Chicago world. On one hand, there's loyalty, Tommy was like an uncle to him. On the other hand, there's history, Tommy was also a man who once swore revenge on Tariq for killing Ghost. If Tariq shows up, it wouldn't just be a reunion, it would be a collision of two timelines, a battle between past family ties and present ambition. Spoilers hint that Season 3 could finally bring these two back together, and if it does, the tension will be so sharp it could cut steel. But those aren't the only names being thrown around. Fans have also whispered about 2-Bit, the soldier who managed to outlast so many others in Ghost's empire. His name carries weight, and his loyalty or lack of it has always been unpredictable. Bringing 2-Bit into Chicago would add muscle and chaos at the same time. He's the type of character who can walk into a room and change the entire energy, and that's exactly what Tommy's world is missing right now, a wild card. Some spoilers even push the theory that Kate Egan, Tommy's mother, could return in a bigger role. While Kate is often seen as messy and unreliable, her presence always forces Tommy to confront his roots. And in a season where old bonds are rumored to resurface, it would make sense for Kate to show up again, dragging secrets from the past with her. Fans know Kate never arrives without stirring pain, comedy, and drama all at once. The real kicker is that these spoilers don't come out of thin air. The Power franchise has built its reputation on weaving different spin-offs together, creating crossovers that keep fans guessing. We saw it with Ghost, we saw it with Raising Kanan references, and now, the torch seems to be passing fully into Force. That means Season 3 isn't just another chapter, it's a meeting point for stories that have been running in different directions. And if these rumored returns are true, Tommy won't just be fighting for Chicago, he'll be forced to deal with New York all over again, whether he wants to or not. What makes these rumors so powerful is the reaction from the fans. On forums, social media threads, and comment sections, people aren't just hoping for these returns, they're demanding them. Tommy and Tasha reunion. One fan writes, "Is the closure we never got?" Another claims, "If Tariq comes to Force, it'll be the real passing of the torch moment Power fans have been waiting for." These aren't just wild theories, they're rooted in the emotional weight of the story. And Power has never ignored the voice of its audience. The energy is building, and every spoiler seems to point toward one idea. Season 3 won't be just about the drug war in Chicago. It will be about the ghosts Tommy can't run from, the bonds he can't escape, and the enemies he never thought he'd face again. The return of old Power characters would mean chaos, but it would also mean history colliding with the present in a way that fans have been craving since the original series ended. Whether it's Tasha stepping in with unfinished business, Tariq confronting Tommy with anger and loyalty all at once, or 2-Bit crashing into Chicago with his unpredictable fire, the message is clear. The past is coming back, and Tommy better be ready. If the rumors are true and these returning characters from the Power universe step foot into Chicago, then the streets won't just shift, they'll crack wide open. Tommy has spent 2 seasons building his name in a city that doesn't forgive weakness. Every move he's made, from taking out rivals to forming shaky partnerships, has been about carving out his own lane, separate from Ghost, separate from New York. But the truth is, Tommy can never fully outrun his past. The second those familiar faces return, everything he's worked for in Chicago changes. Think about Tasha entering this world. Tommy's empire is all about control and expansion, but Tasha, she represents unfinished pain. Their relationship has always been complicated, balancing trust and betrayal, loyalty and conflict. If she shows up, it won't just be about old memories. It could become a new business opportunity. Chicago is dangerous, and Tommy knows better than anyone that he needs smart people who understand the game. Tasha has always had the brains to survive, and if she sees an opening, she might step into the city ready to claim her own piece. That kind of move could either make her Tommy's strongest ally or his sharpest enemy, depending on how the story plays out. And the possibility of those two working together or clashing is exactly the type of tension that could shake the season. Now picture Tariq crossing over. He's already proven in Ghost that he's smart, tactical, and willing to do whatever it takes to survive. But Tariq and Tommy have a history soaked in blood and betrayal. Ghost's death left scars on both of them, and Tariq pulling the trigger is something Tommy never forgot. If Tariq enters the Chicago storyline, the audience would be left holding their breath every time they share the screen. Would Tommy try to get revenge, or would he see Tariq as the last true link to Ghost? Spoilers hint that their bond could be more complicated than simple payback. Tariq may need Tommy's muscle, and Tommy may need Tariq's mind. That kind of uneasy partnership would keep fans guessing every single episode. Then there's 2-Bit, who could be the chaos button Tommy never knew he needed. Chicago has plenty of soldiers, but none with the kind of unpredictable loyalty that 2-Bit brings. He's the type who could back Tommy one minute and cause him a headache the next. With Claudia scheming, the Serbs still a lurking threat, and Diamond and Gennard's broken alliance leaving the streets open for war, 2-Bit would add firepower but also a layer of risk. Fans know that when 2-Bit walks into a room, nothing stays calm. His arrival could make Tommy stronger or put him right in the middle of a storm. And what about Kate Egan? Tommy's mother is a wild card in every sense. While not a player in the drug game, her presence always forces Tommy to confront who he really is. She reminds him of his roots, of the pain he tries to bury under violence and ambition. In Season 3, if Tommy faces both his enemies in Chicago and his demons from New York, Kate could be the one to drag out his emotional side, showing cracks in his armor. Her return wouldn't just affect Tommy personally, it could weaken him in front of rivals or give enemies a way to exploit him. In a city where image and power mean survival, that could be deadly. The bigger picture here is how these returns tie into the larger Power universe. Force is not just telling the story of Tommy in Chicago, it's becoming the crossroads of the entire franchise. By bringing in characters like Tasha, Tariq, or Tubit, the writers could create connections that link every spin-off together. It would give the fans what they've been waiting for, the sense that all these stories exist in one dangerous, connected world. And it would raise the stakes in Chicago from a local war to something that stretches across states, cities, and history. Imagine the shockwaves. If Tariq and Tasha arrive, the Flynns wouldn't just be fighting Tommy, they'd be up against a family that's already survived New York's bloodiest battles. If Tubit joins in, the Serbs and rival crews would face someone who doesn't play by rules. And if Kate shows up, she could unintentionally expose Tommy's vulnerabilities at the worst possible moment. Suddenly, Chicago's balance of power wouldn't just be about drugs, it would be about old alliances, deep grudges, and the ghosts of New York crashing headfirst into a city that's already burning. That's why these spoilers feel so real. Because if Season 3 truly wants to raise the bar, the only way to do it is to bring the past face to face with the present. For Tommy, it would mean his empire is tested in ways it never has been before. For fans, it would mean the return of characters we thought were gone forever. Characters whose stories still have threads left untied. And for Chicago, it would mean blood, betrayal, and power on a level no one has seen yet. The real magic of the Power universe has always been in the way fans take the smallest spoiler and build it into a storm of theories. Season 3 of Force is no different. With the whispers of returning characters, the internet has become a battleground of predictions. Some theories sound logical, rooted in past storylines and character arcs, while others push the boundaries of possibility, turning speculation into fantasy. But in Power, even the wildest ideas can't be ignored, because time and time again the show has blindsided viewers with twists no one thought possible. One of the most popular fan theories right now is that Tariq and Tommy could form a temporary alliance. Fans argue that despite their bitter history, both characters share one thing in common: survival. Tariq has proven he can think his way out of traps, while Tommy has the firepower and street smarts to dominate in Chicago. The theory suggests that Season 3 could place them against a threat so big, they have no choice but to work together. Some believe this enemy of my enemy setup might be the Flynns regrouping with new allies, while others think it could be an outside crew trying to muscle into Chicago. If this plays out, the uneasy partnership would become one of the most talked about storylines in Power history. Another theory making waves is that Tasha isn't coming to Chicago alone. According to speculation, she could bring along allies from Ghost's world, maybe even people we thought were retired from the game. Fans argue that Tasha has always been underestimated, and her arrival in Force could be her way of finally stepping out of Ghost's shadow. Imagine her showing up not just as a widow or mother, but as a strategist ready to control her own empire. This theory gives her a chance to rewrite her story, not as someone dragged along by the men in her life, but as a key player who shapes the game. Of course, there's always the wildcard theory that Ghost himself could make a return. While most fans know his death was meant to be final, there are still corners of the fandom that refuse to believe it. Some argue that Power never fully showed his final moments, leaving the door cracked open for a shocking twist. Others believe a Ghost return could come in the form of flashbacks or visions haunting Tommy. Whether alive or not, Ghost's presence is always felt, and in Season 3, his shadow could loom larger than ever, especially with his son and widow rumored to be entering Tommy's story. And then there's Tubit, who has sparked his own wave of theories. Fans speculate that his return could be more than just muscle for Tommy. Some believe he could betray Tommy, aligning himself with whichever side benefits him the most. Others think Tubit could rise as a major power player in his own right, carving out a slice of Chicago for himself. The unpredictability of his character makes him the perfect piece for fans to argue over, because with Tubit, loyalty is always negotiable. On social media, these theories aren't just discussions, they're debates. Fans drop lines like, if Tariq and Tommy team up, it's game over for everyone else, or Tasha deserves her moment, and Force is the perfect place for her to take it. Others push back, claiming Tommy's empire can't handle that kind of disruption, or that Tariq would never put himself under Tommy's shadow again. The back and forth has only added to the hype, creating a level of anticipation that feels larger than just one show. And that's exactly what makes Force Season 3 so important. It's not just another chapter in Tommy's story, it's the possible meeting ground for every thread in the Power universe. If these theories prove true, Force could become the show that brings everything together, giving fans not only shocking returns but also the emotional payoffs they've been waiting for since the original series ended. The closing question that fans keep asking is simple but powerful. What happens to Tommy if his past refuses to stay buried? Chicago is already dangerous. But add in Tariq's ambition, Tasha's intelligence, 2-bits, unpredictability, and maybe even ghosts, lingering presence. And suddenly Tommy isn't just fighting for territory, he's fighting for his legacy. Fans know Tommy is strong, ruthless, and fearless, but everyone has a breaking point. Season 3 may be the season that pushes him to his dot. So as the theories spread and the spoilers continue to tease, one thing is clear. Force Season 3 isn't just about power in the streets, it's about the power of history, family, and revenge colliding in ways no one sees coming. And if even half of these fan theories are true, then the next season will be the most explosive chapter yet in the Power universe.